chosen one.
This video contains spoilers. Like all of them. So, you've been warned. Hey, what's up guys? Super Saiyan Ram here, and Avengers Endgame. Period. That's end of my review. Just kidding. Yeah, Endgame was awesome. You don't even have to say that. You don't even have to ask that question. Jesus, this movie's beyond fun. So, this review's gonna contain a review of the actual movie and just the whole of the MCU. There's some great callbacks to older movies, so if you're a fan of the MCU, if you're like a super fan of the MCU, you can go back to those movies and, wow, that's from this movie, and that's from this movie. Like, this movie just packed with fan service. And even if you're not a fan, you can still enjoy this movie for the fantastic, epic masterpiece that it is. Whoa, was that a cutaway? Alright, a little addition to this video. I'm going to be sliding and cutting away a few times in this video, so sorry about that. But the reason for this is because Alex wanted to add his opinion to this review. So, yeah, let's add his opinion and see what we agree and disagree on. All bets are off now, so spoilers. I'm dropping them. Don't give a rip. You haven't seen the movie? Too bad. Spoilers start right now. Like right now. So, the beginning of this movie, I mean, already gut punches you with emotion. It starts off with Hawkeye teaching his, you already know what's coming. Alright, just don't pretend like you don't know. I'm assuming if you've seen this movie, you've already seen Infinity War. If you don't watch Infinity War and don't watch this movie, I'm sorry, but you're not a human being at all. So yeah, Hawkeye's family gets dusted, and bam, title. I don't think anyone noticed this, but in the actual Marvel Studios logo, they took out all the characters that were dusted, which I thought was like, what an existential touch to the already heartfelt emotion from Infinity War. And of course, it starts off, like in the trailer, Tony Stark is in space, lost and stranded, until he gets saved by Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel brings the Benatar, the Guardianship, to the Avengers compound, and this leads to one of my favorite scenes of the movie, already out of the gate. Because Tony Stark himself is at his lowest. He is like skinny, he's bona fide, wait a minute. He's like just so shriveled up and like at his lowest point. And every time Tony's at his lowest point, he always comes back stronger than ever. It shows that the effects of Civil War and Age of Ultron actually still have meaning and still have deep consequences because, you know, the Civil War hasn't ended yet, like hasn't fully come full circle yet, so it's nice that they actually pay attention to that, and the feud isn't totally over. In this scene alone, Robert Downey Jr. needs an Oscar nomination just for this scene alone, because, you know, he's at his lowest point when he rips off the arc reactor, and you can tell by Chris Evans' face that it breaks his heart to see Tony be like this. And yeah, so props to RDJ. If he doesn't get an Oscar nom for that scene, the Oscars are rigged, and I'm not watching the Oscars. If this movie doesn't get at least 3 Oscar nominations, I'm not watching the Oscars. I'm boycotting it. The trailers for this movie totally throw you off. That's what's fun about this movie. It takes you on a journey that the trailers totally mislead you. And that's what's so great, is that you can have trailers that are totally misleading, and the movie can take you on a journey with these characters that you've grown to love for the last 11 years. So, Nebula gives them information, and then they're off to go beat Thanos' purple pumpkin chin. So yeah, they totally do that. They go to his planet. Thor chops off his arm. I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't you could do that, but okay. And then turns out Thanos destroyed all the stones. Now he thinks his plan is complete, and now he gets to finally rest. And Thor beheads him. Straight up, his head is on the floor. Oh my god. And that's when the title card 5 years later comes up. And I'm like, so yeah, the Avengers, 5 years later, they're like out of practice and stuff, and they're mourning, and then Ant-Man comes back thanks to that rat who saved the day. So yeah, Ant-Man comes back from the quantum realm and goes to the Avengers compound and tells him that he has this big theory about quantum physics and his ultimate goal or his theory to bring everybody back by using time travel. And the first person they go to is Tony Stark. And after this movie, I said that Morgan Stark is my favorite character in the MCU now. Now that Tony's gone, Morgan Stark is my favorite. Like, she's so cute! They figure out time travel, go back in time to retrieve the stones, and yeah, that's basically where the length of this movie comes from, is them traveling to different time periods in the MCU. Tony, Cap, Ant-Man, and Hulk go to the 2012 New York incident in the Avengers. Rhodey, Nebula, go to 2014 Morag, and Black Widow and Hawkeye go to 2014 Vormir. And that's where the real gut punches kick in, because, see, they traveled to Vormir, and you know what happened in Infinity War when Thanos went to Vormir with Gamora. So, after this heart-wrenching battle of them fighting over who should be the one to sacrifice himself, ultimately, Black Widow is the one to literally take one for the team and sacrifice herself in order to retrieve the Soul Stone. And Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone. And those moments that happen in the other places, like Rhodey freaking backhanding Star-Lord while he's listening to his music, when the Cap v Cap fight that happened, that was extremely well done with a few plot holes, but I'm not focusing on the negatives right now. The whole America's ass thing was beautiful comedy. And then, ultimately, they lose the Space Stone to Loki, who I think that was setting up for Loki's Disney Plus TV show, so we'll see what happens. Conveniently, they go to a time where Hank Pym, Howard Stark, and a bunch of agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with the Tesseract are all in one place in New Jersey, 1970, and that leads to the glorious Stan Lee cameo. And just seeing Tony meet his dad was just beautiful. It tied everything up real nice and neatly, and it was just a great moment. So yeah, they get all the stones, and then they mourn the death of Black Widow. And then 2014 Thanos is like seeing all this happen. Hulk puts on the gauntlet, snaps everyone back into existence, and they all realize that everything's back to normal, everything's lively again, and then Thanos bombs the Avengers compound and leaving them in a really, really bad place. And I love when the original 3 Avengers come to save the day. Oh yeah, Thor's fat! That was funny. Korg playing Fortnite with Meek is something I didn't think I needed in my life. But it happened and I was like, yes! I mean, not the fact that they're playing Fortnite, but New Master 69 was just... I'm still laughing at it. One of the best moments of the movie is when Thanos is about to freaking impale Thor with Stormbreaker. And then you see Mjolnir lift up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's coming. And then you see him throw it, come back to whoever, Cap calls Mjolnir and pulls off the most epic hyper combo I have ever seen in a video game. I'm sorry, movie. Like, as soon as he started twirling the hammer, I was like, Thanos is done. Like, he was getting straight up wombo combos in Smash Brothers right there. That's freaking awesome. He was controlling lightning too. Like, he really is worthy. And it's so amazing when the tiniest nod in a past movie where they hinted at Cap being worthy, where he slightly moved Mjolnir and you can see Thor's face. For them to completely call attention to that with such a big payoff is just astounding. Which is what is so beautiful about the MCU, is that you can have these tiny little callbacks in later movies, and in this movie, it comes full circle with an astounding payoff. And that's just glorious. Speaking of glorious, the cinematography was at its best. Like, I've seen some good cinematography in especially the Russo Brothers movies. I've seen some awesome shots in Winter Soldier. Civil War had some fantastic imagery. Infinity War had some amazing one-takes and one-shots. And the one-shot in this movie, it's a kind of underrated moment, but when we first see Ronin, Hawkeye, like, his whole introduction is a one-shot. And it was beautifully done. I barely even noticed it was a one-shot until I saw it again. I'm just sitting there like, oh wait, this is a one-shot. Yeah, just when you think the Avengers have lost, Cap is up there, alone. Like, basically everyone's defeated. And he's looking at Thanos' massive army. He's looking at him head on, and you're just thinking to yourself in your seat, this is it, until you hear Sam on your left. You just got chills right now. When the portals show up, along with the score, oh my god, the score. Like, everyone cheered every time a dusted character came back. When T'Challa came up with Okoye and Shuri, oh man. And then, just all the characters coming out of the portals. When Doctor Strange came in with the Guardians and Spider-Man, they all gather up, and Doctor Strange, giant man, comes out of nowhere. The Wasp, who was just on a building the last time we saw her, is now in the midst of a battle between aliens, sentient beings, gods from other worlds. Like, whoa, just look at that from her eyes. Like, what? That is so, oh my god. And then, yeah, Cap finally says it. I don't have to tell you what he says. He says it. He says it. And the reunions between Spider-Man and Tony, just heartwarming. That's all I can say about that. Pepper coming in with the rescue armor was something I kind of expected, but just, it was a great moment. They try to get the gauntlet away, and then Captain Marvel coming down and shooting down the entire army was just so awesome. And Captain Marvel wasn't in the movie much, which I kind of understood because in the post-credit scene in Infinity War, I was like, okay, so it's like Captain Marvel gonna like reverse everything? Like, that's kind of cheap, because like you built up these characters for 11 years, and now this new person's just gonna fix everything? No, that's not, no. And I love that she wasn't not in the movie that much. I mean, she's a good character. She's a good character. Don't get me wrong, but like, I really like that she wasn't in the movie that much. She wasn't that involved. Because she is just so overpowered. Like, it's stupid. Tony goes to Doctor Strange, and you said 1 out of 14 million, right? See the Infinity War review if you don't know what that means. 1 out of 14 million, right? Tell me this is it. He's like, if I tell you what will happen, it won't happen. And I'm just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And then when Tony looks up and Doctor Strange looks down and he sees Captain Marvel defeated, he's like, wait, I know exactly what's going on. This is the one scenario where the Avengers win. And it comes at a great cost. Tony grabs the gauntlet, and it's Tony's gauntlet, so I can see how he got it. He grabs all the stones, and then Thanos is I am inevitable. Doesn't work. And Tony, with all 6 Infinity Stones, and I'm just oh, he's gonna say something so epic that's gonna be in my mind for the rest of the day. What is it? I am Iron Man. Snaps his fingers, and then all of Thanos' army disappears. And that was just so fantastic to see. Yeah, I can't say I didn't cry during the funeral scene. So yeah, everything in the last 12 to 13 minutes was wrapped up with just a big Avengers-sized bow. It'll be hard to top the cinematic masterpiece that is this movie. Because let me tell you something. I don't think anything could have topped what Star Wars did to our culture of cinema. I didn't think that anything could top it. Then Endgame rolls around, shattering box office records. Fastest to gross to $2 billion at the box office. That's just so amazing. Yeah, I do think it'll beat Avatar at the box office. It might even hit $3 billion. This movie's huge, but it's enjoyable, it's fun, it's satisfying. It's all of the above you could think of. It's all thanks to this man right here. Without this man, we would not have had the impact of pop culture that is the MCU without Stan the Man Lee. Rest in peace, buddy. Your legacy lives on. And when you really think about it, it really breaks my heart that he wasn't around to see this masterpiece come full circle. As much as it breaks my heart, it also warms it. Because this man and Jack Kirby single-handedly created a cultural phenomenon. That's amazing. Excelsior. I was 5 when Iron Man came out. I saw it in theaters, didn't know what the hell it was. I saw that movie, I was like, oh, that was a pretty good movie. After seeing it again, I was like, okay, I really enjoyed that movie. The Avengers came out. After a while, I never really cared about the MCU until the Avengers rolled around. And that was just a culture shock and a half that broke boundaries on what was cinema. I can't think of any higher praise to give this movie than that. Okay, this is from Alex. Endgame was a really good and satisfying end to this part of the Marvel timeline. It left questions answered, and while it did raise some plot holes, the whole time travel plot was pretty straightforward. I enjoyed all the heroes' involvement, and that battle at the end was very epic, the final battle to decide it all. The movie also left a lot of satisfying endings out for heroes. It was really fun to watch. I really only have 2 bad things to say. The runtime was a little annoying, but I guess I can understand why, and I hated how it wasn't the last movie in Phase 3. It very well should be. Alright, I'm here to conflict these claims real quick. First, unlike Avatar, you don't feel the runtime at all. If you're really invested and really care about these characters, you will not feel the 3 hours and 2 minutes of this movie at all. Even if you're contemplating about watching this movie because of the runtime, don't. Because you will not, if you care enough about these characters, if you really care about their struggles and want to be there for the epic fight scenes and character relationships, you will not feel the runtime. It'll go by so quick. Because this is the last year of Marvel Phase 3, it makes sense that Far From Home is the last Phase 3. So it's not that annoying. It's like Far From Home is like one big after credit scene to the Infinity Saga. That's a nice way of putting it. Like, Far From Home will set up the next wave of MCU movies, starting with Black Widow, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Eternals maybe, X-Men, Fantastic Four, please, 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 Marvel! Alright, cut back to you, Manny's sitting right here. So yeah, that's my review of Endgame. As always, please like it if you like it, subscribe for more content, sure support ringing the bell, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. But that'll be all explained in my next video. Why Avatar is not a good movie. And that's my closing statement. Don't at me. Lit 3000? I don't know. New Master 69. I'm out at 5,000. I love you 3,000. Chain Chomp.